Hey everyone, it's Stan Morris reporting. We're coming at you a little bit early today live because there's been more developments in the case that we reported live last night, and if we can generate any tips, we want to do that. It's a delivery driver that was trying to make a delivery, trying to earn an honest living, who was shot last night. But the details that have been reported are nothing compared to what we're going to tell you about right now. It was almost the loss of a life, an innocent life, and that's all next on NEA Report. Stand by, everyone.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic. Here for you when you need us.
A first look now at images of the delivery driver's car, the delivery driver who was shot last night in Jonesboro. This took place after a delivery was attempted, at least, at a Marshall Street set of apartments. Set of apartments that NEA Report went live at about 11 o'clock whenever the crime had been reported. Now, as you can see in the video, detectives are looking and trying to find evidence on the ground. Where the area their lights are being shined right there, that's where glass from that car we just showed you had been shattered. That's the window. You can see one of the windows there as an officer's investigating it, but it was multiple windows shot and two armed robbers reported in this incident. Let's tell you what Jonesboro Police Department has told us as they just sent along to us a report a short time ago that gave us more information about this. They said when Officer Jeremy Taggart arrived, he observed 3 piles of glass in the parking lot. 2 piles of glass side by side, 5 feet apart, maybe on either side of a vehicle. The other piles approximately 20 feet west of the other 2 piles. It says that several witnesses said that a subject knocked on their door at about 10 p.m. That's what time that this apparently took place. They opened the door, the witness said, and the man said he worked for Dragon City and has his Chinese food. But the witness said that he never ordered Chinese food, so he closed the door and moments later heard gunshots. The witness said he did not look outside whenever he heard the shots, so he could not see subjects fleeing, but he came outside and noticed the glass everywhere. And that he said was not there earlier in the day. The scene was checked for shell casings. It says with negative results. We showed that happening as you're looking at it. This was all last night at about 11 o'clock when NEA Report went live. Now, another officer was dispatched to St. Bernard's in reference to a gunshot victim. That's where we all in the media first learned about this. That officer, Rachel Griffin, filed this report, said that she arrived and met with the man who was the Dragon City driver who was being treated for his injuries. I'm told he got shot in the lower portion of the arm and the bone was shattered by one of the bullets. In consideration with apparently there being multiple gunshots being fired, even though this is a terrible tragedy already, the man fortunately is still alive. Even though that sign right there said security cameras were in use, we never found much evidence of that being the case. Well, as the officers continued their investigation at the hospital, they were speaking with the man. They said that both the front windows and rear window had been broken in his vehicle and a hole caused by a bullet in the driver's side door. A bullet fragment and a single bullet were found in the vehicle. The man said he was working and received a delivery call at 509 Marshall Street. While speaking with a customer, it says that he asked for a phone number for the order and noticed the customer gave a different phone number than was displayed on the caller ID. The man says he drove anyway, because sometimes people call from cell phone numbers or other reasons, right? And drove to 509 Marshall Street and knocked on the door, but that's when he realized something was off because the person that answered, which we told you earlier and talked to police, they had no clue what was going on. Well, as the man walked to his car to leave, that's when he saw the first suspect and another suspect. They come out from behind a neighboring house. He walked to his vehicle and locked the doors, started the cars. That's when the suspects approached the driver's side of the vehicle, tapped on the window. Another suspect did the same on the passenger side. He said it was at this time he began hearing gunshots. He lifted his arm to cover his face and was shot in his right arm. Think about that for a moment. He might have been shot in his head if he hadn't lifted his arm up. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened. This is such a scary situation. He threw the vehicle in reverse, drove to St. Bernard's. It was observed that gunshot wounds were on the right arm, or one shot was on the right arm below the elbow, just as I mentioned earlier. Several cuts to his right and left arm, possibly from the glass. The information listed in the report, it says, is all that the suspect could provide as far as the information on the suspects. I'm sorry, the witness, the victim, could provide on the suspects. So let me scroll up here in the incident report that I'm looking at. I'm going to try to give you all the details that he was able to provide. It's not necessarily much, but here's what we know. 2 male suspects are described, both as being black males at about 5 foot 10 inches. It does not have an average age. It does not have any kind of weight, hair color, appearance, or anything else. Obviously, the panic that took place in that moment in the area you're literally looking at, which is where it was said to have taken place, as the camera focuses a bit better from my live shot last night, you'll be able to see where the glass was on the ground. That's where all of this actually happened, just as we speculated was the case last night when we noticed the glass while at the scene. As we mentioned, though, there's not much more information that he could provide suspect-wise, description-wise, except we know it's 2 men, and they're about 5'10", and maybe they have a reason to live around here in this particular area. Where is this particular area? Well, let's tell you about that. It's the 500 block of Marshall. If you look at just Marshall Street, it might erroneously show that that is in the campus of Arkansas State. This is not. This is north of Arkansas State University, past College Corner apartments, past Cedar Heights apartments as well. I'm going to show you with my mouse pointer on the screen this building that's being lit up right there in the back with the light shining on it. That's actually Cedar Heights. This is pretty close by there. It's an area that's seen some trouble. It's near State Street, and that's a street that would parallel to this, except Marshall's not accessible from Johnson. You have to go over another road, and the name escapes me, maybe Melrose, but I'm having a hard time remembering that one. It was 11 p.m. last night, but State Street does run in that same exact vicinity, and is parallel to what Marshall does end up being around the area. So it is an area, obviously, that's had trouble. In fact, I saw some people that were saying some delivery drivers stopped making nighttime deliveries in this area because of that, and it wouldn't surprise me if more consider similar options, because when you have a delivery driver that's being shot nearly in the face, you're going to have to start being careful more than what was already. At that thought being in your mind, we want to remember that we're looking for the suspects, and we're certainly not blaming the victim or anybody else, except for the 2 perpetrators that were involved in this. Scum of the earth, lowlives that have no value for other human life, that were looking to score 20 or 30 bucks and ready to kill a man to do it. I have zero sympathy for whatever happens to those individuals, and I hope that somebody out there listening and watching this knows who they are, because somebody does know who they are. Somebody knows that they ran into their house late at night, living nearby this at around 10 a.m., and they just didn't ask too many questions. Well, now it's time to, instead of ask some questions, tip off the police and let them ask the questions. Let's let the authorities sort this one out and find out who did this. Give them the information you have, please. Don't protect the people that did this, because they're going to end up shooting one of your kids if you don't watch out. This is indiscriminate violence, and it has to stop, and it stops when people that speak out, people that know something speak out, and generally people that know someone speak out. It's not snitching at the point where it's saving lives. If you're ratting somebody out for smoking a joint, that's maybe a little different. This is attempted murder. Although the charge in the report is actually listed, there's 2 charges listed. One of them is being battery first degree, which is pretty darn close to attempted murder, and aggravated robbery. I think authorities could up it if they wanted to attempted murder, because the man said he put his hand up to shield his face, and that's when the bullet struck him. Nonetheless, If you can assist authorities, please do. Contact Crime Stoppers of Jonesboro at 870-935-STOP. JPD Detectives 935-6710. Contact law enforcement in your neighborhood if it's from somewhere outside of here, as oftentimes crime comes to Jonesboro from outside areas. We've seen, and it's hopefully going to stop at some point. But that won't happen until people speak out. And hopefully tonight, as we have brought you a tragic case of a delivery driver terrified for his life and probably didn't realize how close his life came to being interrupted, is in pain and healing and recovering because of the acts of criminals tonight in Jonesboro.
Haley Norris, realtor.
No.
Should I make my hair go like this? Whether you need to buy, sell, or lease. Haley, can I use my hands? Or is
Yeah.
that, where are my hands? Where do they go?
Just say
Haley.
Just like Haley.
Whether you need my expertise. Haley Norris, realtor. Or even do a commercial lease. Haley Norris, realtor. Should I say Remax Real Estate Center or no? Is that too salesy?
No, that's good.
My average days on market is just 50 days. You need my expertise. And that means I'm putting more money back in your pocket.
Right now, we're joined on the phone with Zach Slater from Emerald's Triangle. And Zach, you've got a very interesting blog post out that's getting a lot of attention online. And not just because you got a contest that you're giving away a little bit of money, although that's probably contributing to it for here or there reason too. But it's more centered about the test results, CBD content test results that you had performed on a business in Jonesboro recently, and the results that you found out showed a little bit of a surprise. What did you find out, and what were you testing?
So we went to several of the local Vapor Maven locations and pulled two brands of, they were just random brands out of their selection. They were Cloud 113 and Cannablast CBD oils, and on the bottle they represented that they were 1,000 milligram oils, either vape additives or tinctures. And so we sent them off to Fast Labs, which is they test, they're going to be in the medicinal marijuana industry for testing and approving cannabinoid profiles. So we sent those down, we paid for those tests, and when we got them back, there was no more than 50% of the actual CBD that those bottles had claimed. And that's something that we're watching out for. There are a lot of companies, especially locally, that are putting out products that are getting people high. CBD does not do that naturally. It's a scientific impossibility. So yeah, that's kind of a campaign that we've launched to kind of keep an eye out for everybody that's out here spending money. We know that CBD isn't cheap, and every little bit counts.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at one of the test results right now, and just to make sure that I'm reading this right, the photos show a little bit pixelated, but you can see it says 319 under the bottle of CBD. Now, what I'm looking at, that's 319. Is that milligrams of CBD in the bottle that's claiming to be 1,000?
That's correct. That's the actual amount in the 30 ml bottle versus the sample they tested. The little sample of that bottle they tested, if you match that to 30 milliliters, that would be the total content of CBD.
I'm not very good at math, but that's about 32% of what it's claiming. Is there a margin of error in this test?
There's only a 10% margin, but that nowhere near makes up for that loss of CBD.
That's pretty significant. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit on this page that I'm taking our viewers through, because we're looking at all these results. And if folks want to check this out themselves, they can also visit shamansreach.com. You've got the posts up there. Here's another test result. This one, and again, this one is the Cannablast Sweet Melon. It says there's 1,000 milligrams of CBD per 30 milliliters. But this test says 137. Does that mean it's 13% of what it's claiming?
for you to be as bad at math as you say, that's right on the money.
Well,
it's shocking.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand these tests. Do you guys test your stuff that you sell?
We do as well. We send them off to the same lab. We pay the same fee. We keep all those reports. We have them all in a folder at Emerald's Triangle downtown for everybody to look at. Ours comes back right within that 10% margin of 100% of what we claim is in our tinctures and products.
Have you ever had tests show up like this to a degree of being this low without some kind of major mistake or error, or like, is this pretty reliable?
The testing is absolutely reliable. They are state certified. They have several also scientific certifications, lab equipment certifications, usage certifications, not to mention his degrees and his reputation there as well, and the education that he's had. So they're fully bonded and licensed to do what they do.
And with the results, and there's several others that you've got posted on the blog as well. I'm going to scroll through some more of those here in just a second, but you've shown basically several cases of this being tested and not having the appropriate amount. Is that against the law for them to sell it with a, I guess, a misleading amount of CBD in it, if that's what's happening?
Yes, that is in fact illegal. I don't remember what act that is under, but it's false advertising. It's misinforming the public and misleading them.
So, what happens as far as is this something that the Attorney General would become involved with? I mean, what do we do as members of the public when we see something like this?
You can report to the Better Business Bureau. You can also call the company directly. Also, the Attorney General would be a good person to contact. We're actually building a list of places to contact and ways that we can go about fighting this in this industry. When you have products that are doing this, there are some that have, less than 5% CBD in there that are getting people high. So in some tests, the lack of CBD is meant to infer the presence of a synthetic cannabinoid that is in turn getting people high and is responsible for more than 100 deaths just in a few states.
So whenever a company takes these types of products and they claim that it's one thing, but then they sell it and it doesn't test appropriately, it maybe is something else, does that put a very big hurdle out for your business as well?
Well, it does. It's kind of twofold. So you have people that are chasing a high, people that currently, some of these substances are technically legal, and people can use them to get high. But what that does, it damages what true and genuine CBD is about, with its healing properties and the way that it's improving people's lives. We don't want to have the two of those mixed. So if a quote-unquote CBD product is going to be sold that is getting someone high, we would prefer CBD be removed from that name so that it's not associated with what real CBD is about.
Somebody that's taking CBD oils or taking it for medicinal reasons, there's not a high that comes from that, as you mentioned, right?
Right, that's absolutely correct. And what's to say that some person, runs out of the CBD oil that they're using that's real CBD and runs across one of these other products that has very little CBD, but it says CBD on the bottle, and then they have a seizure brought on by the synthetic cannabinoids in that when they were looking for medicinal help. It's a dangerous game that people are playing.
Do you have any results that show synthetic cannabinoids being included in any of these?
Not yet, and the reason that it's so difficult, in order to test, you must know exactly what exact synthetic cannabinoid is being used in order to test for it. Currently, there are around 130, 140 synthetic cannabinoids known, and that list is growing and growing. They can change that by one molecular component, and it's now a new substance. So it's quite a challenge to nail it straight on the head, but we're digging down, trying to get to the root of that as well.
What happens if somebody is actually in need of CBD and they think that they're purchasing something with 1,000 milligrams and it has 376 or it has 113 or whatever it is? What happens to that person's health?
Well, I can't really say what would happen. It depends on the product.
Yeah.
But the claims that come with CBD, say if someone had recommended you take 5 milligrams of CBD, well, that would be a certain portion, a certain serving, if you will, of that bottle. Well, if the actual amount of CBD that's in that bottle is 1/3 of that, then they're not getting what they paid for one, and two, what they're expecting. So then now they also have a negative view of it doesn't work for them, and then they miss out on a whole host of beneficial things that they've missed out on because of that misrepresentation.
So they may think that this stuff is not helpful at all, and the truth is they may have just purchased a bottle that didn't even have 1/10 of what it was supposed, or maybe had about 1/10 of what it was supposed to have in it. I can understand how that would be concerning and frustrating as well. Another potentially, I guess, frustrating element of all this, as we're on the phone here with Zach, is that whenever you posted this initially, you did a little bit of artwork for it. I thought it was creative, but not everybody agreed, apparently including the lawyers for the company. And they wanted you to, you actually got a cease and desist, I think, regarding that, right?
Yes, we did. We had edited a public-facing billboard that was above their billboard, and we got a cease and desist letter that basically didn't mention anything about their products being off, but all they mentioned was that we were showing them in a false light, and they wanted their basically their branding removed. So we removed their branding. There is no slander involved whenever you're presenting facts. So luckily, I don't think that they thought we had a lawyer ready to go. And we responded, and so far so good.
Well, I don't think that presenting facts, like you said, can be construed as anything other than what it is. Although it's an interesting time, sometimes presenting facts when people don't like those facts, like to say that it's fake news. I'm just curious. What you said, you've done more testing and you're planning on doing more. Have you found results like this before? And are we seeing this type of intentional or unintentional, we don't know, deception as far as the marketing goes of the product?
Well, that's kind of a different thing as well. We're not sure. If you were to ask me personally, I would highly doubt that some of the persons that are hired to work these shops know what they're selling.
Sure.
But without a doubt, I would say the people responsible for procuring them and having the company sell them know good and well what they're getting their hands on. So there's kind of a gray area there. And we have a host of other products that we've tested from local shops. Some of these shops actually manufacture their own product like we do, except these products were shown to have less than 20% of the CBD claimed, and we're also getting people high. We'll be posting those results in an actual file format for everybody to view. We'll have them sorted for everyone, the shops they came from, and the brands, all broken down. That's to come.
It's incredible to see that as this new industry kind of is no pun intended, budding, as in it's growing as well. It's incredible to see how you're having to go through and also battle instances like this where, obviously it would help your business for people to realize, yes, they're selling what they're supposed to, but others aren't necessarily. But also, you're just having to, it seems like, battle misinformation and try to make sure that the folks that are, taking their step into a new area of medicine and a new area of, care, they're receiving what they're paying for and what they are supposed to. So.
Right. There are some things that you can look out for on some of these products.
Okay.
If the product has a warning label to not take more than so and so many times a day, or the warning label states that you must be 21 or over, several of these are kind of telltale signs that we've now began to associate with some of these products that are doing some real damage. We have people all the time bring stuff into the shop and say, hey, is this okay to take? And some of it, we just have to kind of look at what the bottle says, what the contents say, and we can say, from what we can see, this looks like a legitimate product. There is enough room for everybody to sell a good product that helps people. But we're not going to sit here and stand for people paying someone their hard-earned money just to turn around and be ripped off. There's no room for that, at least not here.
When you say that it says that to only take it a certain amount of times a day as that being a red flag, normal CBD oil, what does that not have a limit, or how does that work?
CBD oil is non-toxic in its entirety. If our 30 milliliter bottle, if someone was to drink that in total, things might be a little loose on the south end, if you know what I mean. And you might be a little bit tired, but that's about it. But some of these others, we just had one recently contact us, and her son had used one of these fake products and literally lost his mind. Ended up driving off the road, was having seizures in the hospital. It was awful.
Oh my gosh! Anything we can do to prevent that, we want to definitely. Well, we're seeing these results, and they're opening our eyes for sure to there being a greater problem. I mean, I hope that I hope some folks are listening in the in the realm that might be as far as the enforcement on this kind of matter goes, because this could just not just as false advertising, but it could present a public health issue as well, and that's I'm sure some folks would love to see that. The negative folks who believe that medical cannabis is just another way for people to find a way to get high, but that's just not the reality of the situation. It's not the reality of the science, and what we're looking at is literally a scientific report that is breaking down the numbers even for me to be able to understand. So I think that. I hope at least our audience is able to see this and get an idea that there may be some marketing going on with this that's not well represented, not accurate, and I got to give you credit for you and the company jumping out there in front of this, putting yourself, I would say in a very small amount of legal risk, but still yet you've already had a lawyer bother you over it. I think it's a worthwhile effort, and so I applaud y'all for stepping up and putting this out there to the public.
Well, we do appreciate it, and we are fully well aware that this community has kind of taken us in its arms and allowed us to grow and has given us their money for our products, and it's kind of a thank you for this community. We kind of have a close protection over this community to not be fed any crap, so to speak, and we're not going to stand idly by and watch it happen. So we'll do what we need to do. The
C in CBD is not supposed to stand for crap, right?
Exactly.
So, good to know. That's a good place for a stand. All right, Zach Slater, thank you, sir, for taking a couple of minutes to talk to us, and keep up the great work.
Thanks, Dan. We appreciate you.
Specializing in unloading contents and packet moves, fully insured and licensed, The Moving Company is the only company to call for your next move. The Moving Company's award-winning team will quickly, safely, and efficiently move your belongings where you need them, whether it's across town or across the country. The Moving Company. Equipped with 2 full-size moving trucks and all the supplies and tools for any move, The Moving Company is prepared for the toughest jobs to the most gentle. To book your next move, give us a call at 882-2842 or send us a message to our Facebook page by searching The Moving Company.
Let's take a look now at your New Wave Wireless weather forecast. This is home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. And we don't really have as many chances for showers and thunderstorms as we did last week, which is cool. As a matter of fact, things are not going to be cool in any form, but they are going to be without the thunderstorms. So there's always that, right? Tonight, cloudy skies expected with a low down to 73 and warmer days on the way. Tomorrow, it looks like it's going to be partly sunny, according to the Weather Service office in Memphis, with a high near 93, but the heat index as high as 103. So you definitely want to stay hydrated. Keep your mind on that, especially if you start to feel a headache or something of that nature when you're out. It looks like on Friday, mostly sunny and 194. Saturday, mostly sunny, 194. Sunday, a 20% chance of thunderstorms with mostly sunny skies, that high right around 93. Now, 20% goes up to 40% if we looked ahead to Monday, which is outside of the 5-day, but I still want to tell you about that now. And it's going to cool down to about 90 degrees. 40% chance, as I mentioned, of thunderstorms on Monday, 30% chance Monday night, and Tuesday also. It's about 91 degrees with a few clouds outside in Jonesboro. The radar is just clear. Nothing showing up. The closest thing I can see near us would probably be in Conway. Quite obviously not in northeast Arkansas. That's where we wrap things up tonight on NEA Report. Thanks everybody so very much for joining us. If you support this and like it, please share. Just click share, click like, write a little comment, say hello. It tells all your friends what you're doing on Facebook, and it helps us out a little bit too. We're on Facebook at NEA Report. If you happen to be watching this on demand after the fact, I say that because we are available on demand anytime at YouTube with lots of exclusive content, police videos, interviews. You never know what you might find. I'm Stan Morris. Now you're up to date. From NEA Report, have a great night.